Previously on Love on the Rocks.
The best way to overcome defeat is like to go do something harder and to defeat it, I suppose. What if we just went and did like the Grand Teton, Mount Baker, Mount Whitney, the highest point in the continental US?
What are we going to get ourselves into next?
There's goats everywhere. Which is kind of awesome.
Goodbye, all right, friends.
All right.
We'll see you guys.
Yep.
It'll be a fun shot.
Oh, yeah.
Bye, Jess. See you later.
For everything.
All right, have fun. Thanks for meeting us on this one.
All right. See ya.
Later.
After saying goodbye to some friends and strengthening their climbing skills at Horseshoe Canyon Ranch, they depart to Eureka Springs, home to some strange history. Let's see how these newlyweds do with a haunted hotel on the agenda.
Eureka Springs is a really special place for us. It's a quirky little strange town. It feels like you're in the mountains. You're still in the Ozarks. It's over 100 years old. You know, back in the turn of the century in the early 1900s, there was a lot of thought around spring water, like healing different diseases. And so people would travel from all over the world to come to these different hot springs and natural springs in Arkansas. And so these towns have a lot of bizarre history. And because of that, they have really bizarre architecture, cobblestone streets. We had on our agenda to go stay at the Crescent Hotel. Now, if you've never heard of the Crescent Hotel, look up most haunted hotels in America. Just look for the one that is the absolute scariest looking. Black and white, kind of brown, Victorian, up on a hill, terrifying looking. That's the Crescent Hotel.
You know, he's not exaggerating. In 1886, the Crescent opened as a resort for the rich and famous. The hotel went through a couple reopenings and closings before it landed into the hands of Dr. Norman Baker. As an inventor and radio personality, he used his platform and influence to try his hand at something that could bring him big money. He claimed to find, you guessed it, the cure for cancer. Like Jason said, people were already flocking to Eureka Springs for its miraculous spring water, so Norman G. Baker saw the opportunity and pounced on it. Baker had no medical background or license, and the cure was nothing more than spring water and crushed watermelon seed. In 1939, Baker was convicted of mail fraud and sentenced to serve 4 years in prison. Baker had defrauded cancer patients out of approximately $4 million. That's about $72 million in today's money. While no one actually died from Baker's cure, the investigation showed that his treatments most likely sped up the deaths of those suffering from cancer when they didn't receive effective forms of treatment. Some of his patients are said to still be roaming the halls of the Crescent Hotel today. But let's see what Taylor thinks about that.
How I feel about staying at the Crescent.
It's not that bad. It should be pretty good.
Driving there, my nerves definitely started working up. It sits on the top of the hill of Eureka Springs and it overlooks the town. We drove up and it has the same old creepy feel. We met up with Jack and Kathleen when we got to the Crescent Hotel, which is the general manager and a tour guide. They had a ton of stories to tell us about Theodora's room, which is the room we were staying in.
Being a, quote, non-believer, I wasn't worried about that until all these things started happening, and a lot happens. So doors slamming in front of you, or, you know, I've seen apparitions, and I've seen evidence after evidence after evidence. We do have a small, I don't know, bottle dump or burial site of human remains. Feel free to check that out. As long as nobody gets hurt and everybody gets thrilled, I'm good with it. Yeah.
It's just something about this building when you walk in here. 419 is one of the most popular rooms.
Please don't make me do.
It was Theodora's room. She likes her room, very neat, very clean. People walking down the hall, they'll see an older woman standing at the door, fidgeting in her purse. They'll stop and ask if they can help her, and she'll say, "Oh, no, thank you. I'm just looking for my keys." Well, when they turn back around, she's gone. Now, like I said, she likes that room neat and clean. If she likes you, she does very nice things. If she doesn't, she prefers that you leave.
Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Okay, it doesn't open, so maybe we're not supposed to stay here. Is this her room?
Well, the key worked.
Babe, I don't think I could stay here. I'm really...
We have to stay here. What are you worried about?
Can we just leave the door open all night, maybe?
Well, she'll close it. We've already seen that.
I don't want to go in there.
Come on.
No.
Bathroom's nice.
What's in there? Do you really think that there's ghosts in here?
I don't know.
Maybe there's not. Maybe it's just all in people's heads. Until the doors start shutting on themselves, and then you have someone pulling your foot in the middle of the night, and then you're paralyzed because some ghost is trying to tell you something.
It's gonna be fine. The room seems very comfortable. I feel really good about it. It's gonna be great. You know, I actually sort of like haunted things. I don't know my beliefs in ghosts. I definitely have some stories, but I don't know. I did all the things you're not supposed to. Like, apparently she doesn't like it when the bed's messy, so I started throwing pillows everywhere, and Tayler didn't like that. I pulled my bag down and scattered clothes everywhere.
Then we'll start the GoPro.
And we set up some booby traps. I was really excited. I was like, we're gonna catch some footage. Told Theodora, now's your chance. We're going to dinner. When we come back, you better have rearranged all my clothing or fixed some stuff in here. Wait, do you know that song?
Downtown, there's this place called the Grand Tavern, and both times we've been there has been this guy that's singing.
He's a great singer. Every time we've heard him, I'm like, why does this guy live in Eureka Springs? Like, this guy needs to be somewhere else singing in front of more than, 25 people in a mountain town of Arkansas, but love it.
Glass number 4. And I'm feeling pretty good, but I'm not gonna get to the point where I don't know how to film things because I have to be on my A game tonight because we're hunting ghosts.
And that was where he would store the bodies.
In here?
And yeah.
We finished eating at the Grand Tavern, and then we headed back to the Crescent where we were going to meet up with Kathleen, and she was going to give us the morgue tour. We went downstairs to where the spa is, and past the spa, you get into this really creepy part of the hotel, which is where the laundry is done and all of that fun stuff. And then you go a little bit further, and there's this room of full concrete, and it's where the doctors used to do the surgeries or the biopsies on the cancer patients that had died. And then there's a freezer where Norman Baker stored the bodies. And Kathleen, she asked us if we wanted to go inside the freezer.
Let's go, Tay.
Oh, seriously? Okay, don't leave us in here for too long. How long do you leave us in here for?
2 seconds.
Okay.
Now, one night I did this.
I don't know if I want to do this.
And everybody came walking out.
Yeah.
And the last person was a man, and he stood right here in the doorway, and he took a selfie of himself like this.
Yeah.
When he stepped out, he pulled it up,
And there was someone in
and
it.
this woman said, that was next to him, "Look what's behind you."
Oh gosh.
He didn't have time to Photoshop it or anything.
No.
He just walked right out.
Why are we doing
Okay.
this? This is... This is longer than 2 seconds. Yes. Oh my gosh. I was really hoping I would be a little bit more drunk or a little bit more exhausted, but my adrenaline definitely kicked in. And then we tried to go to sleep, but I convinced Jason to leave the TV on all night because, I don't know, something about Friends going in the background made it seem a little less spooky.
I was thinking something was gonna happen. Didn't really know if it would. The sun came out. You know, that's when you know that God is real. But my phone cord, and this was legit. This was legit and weird. I had my phone plugged into the wall. When I woke up and looked down there, my phone cord was at least that far from the wall. And there is no way on God's green earth that I did that. So I don't really know. Like, I'm not one to get all excited about ghosts or make up stories. I just know that happened. So we packed out of there, had some breakfast. Tayler was having a hard time getting coffee, which is usually bad for her. What's going on with your coffee?
I've like wanted coffee since the beginning of this trip. It was the very first thing I said I wanted.
Off to get coffee!
And then we ran out of time, which is fine. The next morning, I could have brewed coffee. Here's coffee. But I thought we would be able to get coffee at the main place, and they didn't have any. And now I just wanted coffee with breakfast because I didn't sleep anything, and apparently their coffee machine broke. So
It's not meant to be.
I will have it at some point, I guess.
Jason and Tayler head east to explore Tennessee, Georgia, and the Carolinas. They'll prepare for their 3 upcoming mountain summits by hiking the Appalachian Mountains, spelunking down a deep cave system, and they'll even test their courage by jumping out of an airplane. Let's catch up with the 2 of them as they make a quick pit stop at a familiar spot in Missouri.
We ended up driving through Poplar Bluff. That was where my grandparents lived. That's where my dad's family was from. And it's funny because even though that was over 20 years ago, we were driving through and all of a sudden I was like, oh my gosh, I think I know where that cabin is.
Yeah, that's definitely the cabin. Yeah, that's definitely it. This was my grandparents' home. That was the pond that I fell in love with fishing in.
I love when Jason gets to reminisce on childhood memories because I don't feel like he does it very frequently.
Haven't been here in 20 years.
You know, his parents went through a divorce when he was pretty young. I haven't met his dad or any of that side of his family, and it was cool to get a little insight to that part of his life.
A lot of this hasn't changed. I mean, heck, even that wagon wheel was there when I was a kid. I kid you not. That wagon wheel has been friggin' sitting there for 30 years.
After a quick stop in Poplar Bluff, it's on to Nashville and a walk down memory lane for Tayler.
So tell me, what is your Belmont story? Why did you go to Belmont?
Why did I go to Belmont? I always loved music and musical theater, commercial music. I wanted to be a singer.
Can you sing something real quick?
Oh my gosh.
Ready?
I don't want to.
Here, you can harmonize with me.
That's so funny. I feel like that's the one thing, whenever you say you're a singer, people are always like, well, sing something for me.
Oh my gosh, sing the song.
Why?
Just sing a little piece of it. Ready? And go.
The story of how I got to Belmont is kind of a long journey. My mom heard about it on the country music station in Virginia Beach, and I wasn't gonna go to college, but she just wanted me to check it out. She thought it would be really cool. I've always loved music. When we came here and I stepped on the campus, it just felt right. My dad passed away when I was 17. Because of that, I received scholarships given to kids of fallen patriots. My dad was always a huge advocate for education, so I think he would have been really, really proud. My dad worked so hard from the time he graduated high school. He went straight into the Navy, and he was that guy that, never forgot where he came from. And he worked his way up from the bottom of the barrel to one of the top enlisted sailors in the Navy. And
You wave to your daddy?
he was an amazing guitarist and singer. He taught himself how to play, and he would play for hours and sing country music. Alan Jackson, Tim McGraw, Garth Brooks. It was a part of my childhood. We grew up listening to my dad play guitar and sing. He really believed in getting a college education. And I think after he died, I looked at schooling completely different. I looked at it as a gift. And when I stepped on that campus, it was almost like a little nudge from my dad of this is where you're supposed to be. It's cool that I got the scholarships, but I would have taken him over it, you know. But it is, I feel like if there is one thing that would have made my dad really proud, it would have been to see me graduate from college. After visiting Belmont, we drove around Nashville, and then we went to one of my favorite places, Grilled Cheesery. It's like the best grilled cheese sandwich you'll ever eat.
One with the roasted red pepper stew.
All right. Am I doing this right? Oh, this is 2. Oh, man. That's incredible.
Told you.
We were so full, and then Tayler was like,
Should we order another one?
We've asked 5 times if we should order another one.
It was that good. I was sad that it was gone.
You never hear an ambulance cruising through the forest when you're out fishing for some trout. I am ready to get back to the wild. How about you?
Same.
Back to the wild.
Back to the wild.
Soon, a vertical cave drop awaits that'll test each other's endurance, and a skydive that'll teach Tayler more about herself. But first, Jason picks fun at Tayler.
Jason makes fun of me for saying this, but there really is just
There's just something about the Smoky Mountains.
There is.
There really is. At the time of its emergence, this 2,000-mile, 480-million-year-old mountain range once had elevations similar to those Rockies out west. The soft grandeur of the Blue Ridge Mountains is home to the tallest American peak east of the Mississippi. Along the ridgeline of this mountain runs the Blue Ridge Parkway, a 469-mile scenic highway constructed in the 1930s as part of the New Deal program, implemented by FDR. Its 52-year-long construction put thousands of Americans back to work following the Great Depression. Even closet fans of the mountain range can appreciate that. Stretching from the Shenandoah Valley to the Great Smoky Mountains, these country roads will take you home to the place you belong. Now, the Parkway's old forest growth and panoramic views bring thousands of tourists from across the globe.
you know, you're going through all these little mountain towns. You want to find some cool places to eat.
This town was called Black Mountain, and we stopped at Black Mountain Pizza.
Do you have pizza? This is a bad question, I'm sorry.
He's joking.
Pizza from a bus.
You love Black Mountain?
I love Black Mountain. It's a cool place.
We were meeting Jake and Paige at this campsite that we had actually camped at years before. Tayler, what did you find?
My niece!
And?
My sister and brother-in-law.
Unbelievable.
Wow, okay. I'll just leave now. It's fine.
I'm excited you guys are here.
Thank you, Jason.
Thank you.
I'm
just kidding. I'm super pumped.
Okay.
My family's here.
Say hello.
Caroline.
Hi.
Say hi.
As much as I like the great outdoors, I'm always thankful for a state park restroom.
Do you not like blueberries?
What is this language you guys are speaking? I don't understand it, but she does.
It's baby.
Jake, what are your feelings on this language they're speaking?
This language is, I don't know, it's so interesting.
Do you know it?
I don't, no.
We'll just work on the fire and the food.
So next we found a waterfall hike. Now keep in mind we've got baby Caroline with us, we've got Jake and Paige. I notoriously pick things that are very difficult. Luckily Tayler, you know, she's still on board. That's why we make a great team.
Hey, we made it.
We made it to the waterfall. It's actually really pretty. Can't swim up here, gotta swim at the bottom.
felt like it was fun. Me and Jake cliff dove. It was crazy. He did a swan dive. I did a really nice gainer.
I'm pretty sure that Jason
And
did a butt flop.
and Jake.
I think
Jake did a double front flip.
Jason did a butt flop.
Obviously they weren't watching. Were they, Jake? Lame. I feel like I'm not gonna be in good enough shape to do the Grand Teton and Mount Baker and Mount Whitney, so I decided to jog back. They're still back there. We just started roaming around the area. You know, there's all these unique little towns that are positioned all around the Blue Ridge Mountains, including Asheville, including Black Mountain, you know, all these different little places. So no surprise, the #1 agenda was to go find a coffee shop.
The owner of the coffee shop was super cool, and they roast all their beans right there in front of you.
You know, I just find interest in pretty much everything, but especially things that involve a little bit of science.
Bean temperature?
The bean temperature.
He made us this experimental coffee drink. It was so good. It's so good.
Good and strong.
This is gonna save us a lot of money in our marriage.
Next time on Love on the Rocks.
I'm a little, you know, a little nervous.
Oh my gosh, are you okay? This feels terrifying.
It's all right. I like things that make you nervous. How do you feel about wave runnering?
I love it. It helps me release my inner speed demon.
We're at Chattanooga Skydiving Company.
Oh yeah, I'm supposed to be cool in this moment, but I spazzed out.
Now, there was a slight little interruption that occurred in there.
Got back in the car, and that's when it started.
Close my eyes, you're looking back at me. As real as autumn air, I take and breathe. Try as you might, but you can't hide from me. I know all the beauty that you keep. There is none more beautiful than you.